We have got a big delivery coming in today. Actually, it's already here. Let's go take a look. So today I received the first of 2 pallets from Versatube carports. That's right, I decided to go with the Versatube carport for my solution back here in the Woodyard in order to have a covered working area instead of building a pole barn. And I'll get into the reasons for that in a little bit. When I did get this pallet today, we were able to unload it off of the truck that delivered it. I did end up having to, we pulled it out. I pulled it out with the forks, and then he had a lift gate on the back that we then lowered it down together. I came in from the side, was able to pick it up all at once, but I wasn't gonna be able to lift the pallet high enough to get through both of the gates to get back to the Woodyard. So what I decided to do was break it in half, unload the top half of the pallet, bring that back in one load, and then take the bottom half of the pallet, take that back in a second load. So the reason that I decided to go with the carport from Versatube over the pole barn, a couple of factors. Number one, cost. The cheapest option, the cheapest bid that I had for a pole barn, I believe was around $20,000. The Versatube here, the carport, I ended up paying after taxes, it was $5,381. So a little bit cheaper of an option, and I think it will serve just as good of a purpose and just get done what I need to have done back here, and that's just have a covered working area for, you know, splitting wood in, having the Easton made, 37D under. So yeah, cost, obviously number one factor. Number two, the time frame. The earliest that I was going to be able to have construction start on a pole barn back here would have been the end of this summer, possibly even into the fall. And for me, I just didn't want to wait that long. And actually the cheapest bid of the pole barn, they wouldn't have been able to start until next summer. Another factor that I looked into and found out about was in my area here, the codes for buildings, you can only have so many square footage of outbuildings on your property. And going with the 30 by 40 pole barn, that was going to be too big. And I would have had to go through some special permitting and get things approved. And so the size of this Versatube is 18 by 30 by 12. So it's 18 feet wide, 30 feet long, 12 feet high. And after thinking about it some more, I did realize that having something that would have been 30 feet wide, I think would have just, made things a little too congested back here. So I think by having something that I can both move around on the outside, on both sides of it, I'm thinking it's going to come from like that corner up there right out this way, kind of right where that Ultratech trailer is. And so that way I'm still going to be able to like access stuff from the sides. And having something 30 by 40 I think would have been too big. Now I know everyone's going to say anytime you think of building something you should always go bigger. And so, you know, you're probably thinking right now 18 by 30 isn't going to be big enough. But at some point you have to say, okay, this will be big enough. I'll just make this work. So now I did need to get a permit for this. That was another $150. But being the size that it was, it allowed me to not have to go through the special permitting process, which would have costed like $650, and then that would have needed to be approved. And if it, you know, there's no guarantee that that would have been approved. So the steel that goes on the roof of this now is coming on another pallet. That should be here in a week or two. I'm going to start putting together the frames. Or looking into it. I'm not exactly sure. I do have to get obviously a little more site prep done before I start putting anything up. But yeah, this is what I decided to go with. I know for a while I was really leaning hard towards the pole barn, but at the end of the day, you know, the other thing that this allows me to do is be a little bit flexible. So if I do want to ever move this to potentially a new location, or move it up, you know, at some other place to use it for something else, I do have that option. Whereas if I would have put up a pole barn, that would not be an option. Now, if I would have put up a pole barn that was 18 by 30, would the cost have been different? Yes, and then obviously that would not have been probably a $20,000 project, but I think it would have been maybe, I don't think I would have been able to do an 18 by 30 foot pole barn for the same cost as this, $5,400. So for those that have been wondering what has been going on with the pole barn or the potential shelter back here, there it is. It's now, the decision was made. The VersaTube carport is what we're going to be putting up. Again, just because of a matter of timing, cost, I think this is just the easiest route to go and the best bang for your buck. But I'm saying that without having had put any of this together yet. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if my opinion changes as soon as I start putting this frame together.